Hi, I'm Pam Bennett, horticulture educator for Ohio State University Extension, and I'd like to share with you some of my favorite holiday and winter flowering bulbs. I call them holiday and winter flowering because a lot of people use them around the holiday season, but I like to plant them around the 1st of December to the middle of December so that they're in bloom in January and February when there's very little in color in the house. We're going to start with Paperwhites. And Paperwhites are narcissus, or in the daffodil family, and they have a beautiful white flower that blooms in about 6 to 8 weeks. You have a couple different options on how you want to plant them. The first option we're going to use is in gravel or marble chips or some kind of decorative pebbles. And in this case, you want to use a container that's about 2 to 3 inches in depth and has no drainage holes in the bottom because you're going to fill this entire container with water. You simply take your Paperwhite narcissus and set them right on top of the surface of the gravel. Just kind of give them a little push so that they get the root system right down in the gravel area. They're all set to go. And the next thing you do is just fill this container with water, which is again why I said you don't want any drainage holes in this particular pot. Then you just let them sit there, put them in kind of a bright sunny window and let them go until they bloom. The next option is to use a shallow container such as this and use potting soil or potting mix. We have a good potting mix here. We're going to take it and we're going to fill the container just about halfway up. Then we're going to take our Paperwhites. This is a different variety. Now, those of you who have had Paperwhites before, you may be familiar with the smell. You either really, really like them or you really, really don't like them. They have kind of a very, very noticeable fragrance. So this variety that I found the other day is called In Ball, and it said it had a nicer smell. So we're going to see if that's true or not. Tuck your plant, or your bulbs rather, down in the soil. Just give them a nice little push. Add just a little bit more soil, because in this case, these roots are going to develop and grow into the soil. Then take your container, water, and in this case, you want to water until the drainage hole lets all the water come out of the bottom. I've got a shallow tray here to hold the water. Keep in mind you don't want the water to sit in the bottom of the pot, but you want that down there to protect your table and where you're going to set the pot. And then just keep it on the moist side. Now with this particular one, you just keep it filled with water the entire time. With the one in soil, just keep it moist. They're going to be beautiful in about 6 to 8 weeks. Now let's talk about Amaryllis, one of my favorite holiday bulbs and January, February flowers as well. Now, you do get what you pay for when it comes to Amaryllis. These are two different size bulbs. This was about $25 and this was about $18, but the larger the bulb, the better the flowers. In this case, this one that's $25, you might get 2 to 3 really beautiful flower stems during the season. Or you can purchase a little less expensive pot such as this, which is all pre-packaged, ready to go. Remove the excelsior here off the top. You see the bulbs in here, there's soil, everything's all set. All you do is water this and it's all set to flower and bloom for you. Now we're going to pot it up in a clay pot. In this case you want one that has a drainage hole in the bottom. Some people will put their Amaryllis in a glass jar or a glass vase with pebbles in it, but I really like to have it in soil so it gets a good established root system because these flowers get really tall. All you want to do is take your soil, fill your pot up about halfway to 3/4. Take your roots, kind of spread them out. Set it down in there and just kind of tuck it down a little bit. Take some more soil. Fill it up until you get it around the fattest part of the bulb. And then again, just kind of loosen it and jiggle it in there so the soil kind of settles. The next thing you do is water it thoroughly. Now, you'll notice I have a tray at the bottom for drainage. This will catch all the water. And in this case, water it until it runs out, but never, with all your houseplants, never let the water set in this tray or the root system will rot. After you're all finished, your Paperwhites, your Amaryllis are going to bloom. With Paperwhites, when they're finished, they're really kind of a one-shot deal. Pretty much just throw them away and start again next year with new ones if you want them again. But with Amaryllis, you can keep them and keep them going year after year. Again, the larger the bulb, the more you're going to get out of it in the future years. Once it finishes blooming, cut the flower stem all the way back, and then you'll start to see foliage appear. When that foliage comes out, keep watering it, take care of it just as you normally would a houseplant. Put it outside in the spring when the weather's warm. Let it stay out all summer, grow as much foliage as you possibly can, because that foliage then feeds this bulb and makes it bigger for next year. In about August, the end of August, cut the foliage back, Take the whole pot, stop watering, put it in a dark place in your basement, and let it sit there for about 4 to 5 weeks. Maybe around December, January then, bring it out again, water it, and you'll have another beautiful flower again next season. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 types of flowering bulbs, and go to your local garden center. You can find them right now, plant them, and enjoy them in January and February.